What's up, resellers? I'm Rebecca and you're watching Rebecca the Reseller. Thanks for joining me today for a Poshmark closet review. I love doing these. So excited. So it's actually been going really well. I've been getting a lot of requests for Poshmark closet reviews. If you don't know how to find one, basically you just go to my Etsy store, which is linked down below. It's etsy.com/shop/Rebecca the Reseller. I've got all kinds of reseller tools and resources, trackers, listing forms, an ebook, like all kinds of stuff is here. So go and check it out. I'm actually getting ready to start adding more and more products. I was doing kind of like an overhaul of the store recently. I just added a new product, which is women's clothing keywords. It's 400 plus keywords. It's in there, so I'm really excited about that because that's brand new. But if you want a Poshmark closet review, where is listing? It's around here somewhere. I should put it at the top, shouldn't I? Here it is. Poshmark closet review. You get a personalized video like this one, as well as a personalized summary. Everything is directed to you specifically and your closet on how I think you can improve. If this is the first one that you're watching, I like doing them. I don't know why. I've done a few of them now. I really feel like I'm pretty detailed, pretty analytical. I give you a lot of great tips, and I'm really excited to do this one because I feel like there's some interesting bits in here that I haven't had to mention before. And so everybody's closet is different, and that gives me the opportunity to share that with all of you that are watching at home. So you can get the benefit of that, of course. But if you're interested in getting one specifically for yourself, all you have to do is go ahead and purchase one at the Etsy store. Let's go ahead and dive in to this closet. So the closet name is @FashionBucket. And the person's name that came through on the Etsy order was Ulandra. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I'm super sorry. I tried to see if I could find your name anywhere on your actual Poshmark closet, but I didn't see it. So hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm very sorry if I'm not. But thank you for purchasing a closet review. I'm very excited to share this with you. I put a lot of work into it. I feel like there are some really great actionable tips here for you, and I'm excited to share them not only with you, but with everyone else as well, so we can all improve. So here we go. First of all, Fashion Bucket. Oh my God, that's so cute. I love that. I love the name. It's so cute. I wrote in here, I'm obsessed with your name. It's so awesome. I do think that you can, as I've said in several, and I'll say them every time where it applies, if you add the name field, exclamation points to the beginning of the name field, it will get you higher up in the lists of followers. So if you go and click on someone and want to follow their followers, the people that show up at the top of that list, which usually get the most follows, show up there because they have an exclamation point or some sort of special character at the beginning. And so I highly recommend that you change your name field to include that so that you can come up higher and get more followers. So that is just always kind of my general recommendation to people that aren't doing that. I think your banner looks so cute. It's great because it's a nice closet. It's not anything specific. It's kind of very general, but it looks very fashiony, very nice. That's perfect. I love your avatar. That's a beautiful drawing. I don't know if you did that or you found it on the internet, but it's super cute. So I think all of that is great. I love when people put just a nice, pleasant atmosphere to their store like this. It doesn't have to be specifically branded to you. You don't have to pay any money to get any logos or anything. Just find a nice image and use it, and it looks great and it sets the tone. So love that. Up here you've got the Fashion Bucket, you've got @FashionBucket, which is great. So you've got in your info line, which I love, Posh Ambassador, top seller, quick shipper. Yes, yes, yes. That is so amazing. I love that you have all of that there. That lets the buyer know. It's one of the recommendations that I give to build buyer confidence and let them know what to expect. One thing I thought you might want to add is how many items you've sold. I feel like Posh Ambassador is nice, but it doesn't necessarily give anyone that much information about you as a seller. Top seller is great, but that's, you could just say that. Quick shipper is great, but if you say 1,000 packages sold, obviously what you've got 762 listings, which we'll talk about in a second, but maybe you sold 200 packages. Whatever you've sold, include that number, and then from time to time update it. It makes you feel good to have hit milestones, and it also just lets people know that you're not brand new at this. Even if you're relatively new, you're not brand new. And so you know what you're doing, and you can get them a package quickly, and you have sold a bunch of them. And I just feel like that's a great, kind of concrete thing that you can add there. You don't have a link included, and that's fine. If you have nowhere to link to, that's okay. But should you ever want to add a YouTube channel or an Instagram or something like that, you can add that in the links there, but it's not necessary. As I said, so now you're up to 762. When I checked this yesterday and did your summary, because I wrote your summary yesterday, I'm doing the video today, it was 759. So you're actively listing, so that's awesome. So I thought that was a great number. I did look to see kind of when you started and that type of thing, which we'll talk about in a second. So I feel like that's a good amount to have. I always am of the camp that you should have a milestone or something to look toward. So for you, since you're at 762 all-time listings, you may want to set yourself a milestone of 1,000, and that kind of gives you, something to work toward. You can kind of get an idea of when you're going to get there based on how many listings you do per day, and it just kind of gives you, something to kind of move forward to. You could set yourself a long-term goal and say you can't wait till you get to 10,000. That's kind of what I'm looking ahead on my store, is to get to 10,000. All time. So, everyone starts somewhere. Everybody's journey is different. It's going to take different amounts of time. I'm just celebrating my 4-year Poshversary. So I've been on Poshmark for 4 years, and that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm not even a big lister. I don't list 30, 50 items a day. I list right now only 5. At most I ever listed was 20. So it just kind of depends on what your goals are and what your availability is. But I do think having just kind of a milestone in mind is great. And you should, if you're looking to make more sales, you should be at minimum listing as many as you hope to be selling. That doesn't mean that just because you list 5, you're going to sell 5. But if you're always listing 5, eventually you'll get to 5 going out. Then you can raise it to 10. And when you eventually get to 10 selling, then you can add more. Some people list double what they want. I just can't do that type of production. I don't know what your situation is, but my recommendation for anyone is to always kind of start with how many items do you want to sell? That's how many at least you should be listing per day. So for you, since yesterday, it looks like you listed 3 items, which is great. Maybe that's what you do every day. Maybe that's just what you've done so far today. I don't know, but just consider what your listing habit is. If that's what you're looking to increase, you want to start putting some thought into that. Next up is your shares. So you're at about 26,000 community shares, which is nice. Obviously, we all have to do a certain amount of community shares to get Posh Ambassador, so that's fine. And I think a lot of people share a lot in the very beginning because they're excited and kind of figuring everything out. I don't necessarily think you should do community shares above anything else for yourself. If you've done everything else that you need to do for yourself that day, your listings, your shares, your offers to likers, any, updates and revisions you want to do or what have you, and you want to just do some shares, great. If you want to do share for share with a group or something, that's fine. It can only help increase exposure, but it's just a matter of where you're spending your time and are you doing the biggest bang for your buck. And community shares is nice, but it's not imperative to make sales, I guess you should say. I guess I could say. So that's that. On to followers, you're at 22,000 followers from following 112,000. What that tells me is that you are a follower. Like, you like to follow closets with the hopes of getting followers, and that's fine. I like doing it too. I did it a lot more in the beginning than I do now. I used to even have that be part of what my virtual assistant would help me with sometimes. Not all the time, but from time to time. So I definitely think following people to get followers is okay, similar to community shares. You shouldn't be spending all your time doing it. It's not a revenue generating task. It's more of an admin or an operational task. And so I think doing some of it is great when you can't do anything else, but I feel like if you can follow, you could share. And so I'd rather see you share 4 of your items than follow 4 closets, if that makes sense. If you're waiting in line at a grocery store and you go to your phone to follow people, you should go to your phone to share items instead. And only after you've done a good amount of that for the day can you go in and follow some new Poshers. I do have a video if you are interested in increasing your followers, specifically all about how to increase your Poshmark followers, so that'll be linked. But again, do it, but don't make it a priority. Last active, I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. Last active this hour, which is great because you're recently active. You were recently active when I checked it yesterday to do the summary. So that is good. Lets the buyers know that you're active on the app. You're more likely to ship their item on time. You're more likely to answer their question, accept their offer, things like that. Your love note situation, that's good. Great on quality, great on quantity. This is something new that I started looking at. I haven't really mentioned this too much in many other closet reviews. So I thought that you got, some really nice compliments. You have a good amount of them. So I think that is all good. That just kind of shows that you have a track record there. When you're new, for those at home that are watching, when you're new, you want to do everything you can to get those good love notes in. Average ship time is same day, which is great. Good job on getting your packages out quickly. That's awesome. Try to keep that ship time same day if you can. It's a lot easier for those that have their items at home. I don't have my items at home, so it's hard for me to do same day most of the time. But for as long as you can, get those packages out same day. It will only benefit you in the long term. So I definitely think that that is a super duper plus that you have. Posher since January of 2018, so you're about 2.5 years in, which is awesome. And everyone's journey is different as far as like when they got on doesn't mean that you were taking it seriously. You could have been a buyer for 6 months. You could have downloaded the app, not touched it again for 6 months. So everyone's journey is different. So it's hard to make assumptions on that, but the buyer does see it and they can make assumptions on that. So I just bring that up so that everyone is cognizant of their own posher since, and then what the rest of everything looks like. I mean, you've got 762 listings, so it's not like you're brand new, and it's not like no one wanted to buy your stuff, is basically what it's like. If you were on for 2 years and you only had 2 love notes, that would look worse for you. That doesn't even mean that you were trying to sell anything, but a person could look at your closet and be like, they've been on for 2 years, they only sold 2 things, maybe no one wants their stuff. I mean, you never know what people are going to take away from these cues, but at least your cues are pointing in the right direction, is my point. So you're on your way to getting to be a super seasoned seller. So let's go back to the closet. So when I checked yesterday, did not see any closet bookmark sign. I didn't see any signs for sales. The only signs, closet signs that I saw were your category signs, which is fine. If you want to do category signs, that's fine. I don't. I'm trying to think if I did in the beginning. Perhaps I did. I don't remember. Some people like to have their closets organized by category or whatever thing. I don't bother doing that anymore. The biggest thing I ever did was I did women's at the top, then men's, then kids, generally speaking, but I didn't go with like tops, skirts, all that stuff. You can, it's totally fine. It's just my personal preference that I don't. So with the closet signs, my thing is this. It's fine to have them. And again, this is a personal opinion. I think, going back up to the top, that your little girl here is so cute. Your name Fashion Bucket is so cute. This background is so cute that you should bring in some of these elements and make like branded closet signs for your categories. Each of your category signs looks totally different. So I almost don't even notice it. If you had something that was a closet sign that matched everything, it would be obvious to me that that's what it was, that it was a sign, that it was a branded marketing image. And I think that it would look really cute. I mean, you could throw her on just a white background and just put skirts like in script. And that's all you need to have. You don't need to have a picture of a skirt. People know what a skirt is. Plus, they're not looking for that skirt anyway. And like this, it's not a skirt. So, I mean, there's a tutu, but that's probably all one piece. Maybe it's separate. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. But I just think that that's more of a distraction to your closet than if you did a branded one. And so I haven't had the chance to talk about this yet. I'm actually really passionate about like closet names and the branding of things. And I'm not a marketing person. I don't have a marketing background, but I do love that stuff. I've gotten more into it. And I say that because I'm really considering making sets of branded, Poshmark closet signs and stuff, because there are some people that don't know how to do it, don't want to do it, don't have the time, like can't deal with it, but they'd buy them. So let me know in the comments below if you are anyone that is interested in branded closet signs, if that's something that you're interested in. I know that there are other people that do them, but the thing about branding is that there's infinite ideas and there's infinite creativity. And so you can never have too many options out there, I feel like. So, you know, what my take on it would be completely different from someone else's take. So, Yolanda, if you are interested in doing branded closet signs, let me know. Maybe I'll do them for free for you and do them as a guinea pig and, you know, show you what I can do. You can get them for free and I can have kind of an example to put out there. So let's talk about it. I'm not saying for sure we'd have to talk. I don't know if you're into it. I'm throwing it out there. You know, message me and let me know if that's something you're interested in. I may want to give that a try. It's something that I find myself always talking about that. So I just think it might be fun. Anyway, sorry, that was a total side tangent. Closet signs. So that's that for category signs. You know, if you've watched my channel or any of my other closet reviews, I really do think everyone should have a bookmark sign. It should go right here where this new Anthropologie satin robe is. You should have a closet sign there. Go ahead and click the link that I'm giving you in my summary to see mine, see what it looks like. I have some just general closet information on there that says this is what closet it is, like this to bookmark it so they can always come back to you again. And it says how many packages I've sold, that I ship same next day. I forget what else I have on there, but I think that does a lot for just setting the tone in your closet, giving some people some information and giving them a way to find you again if they liked your closet. There's nothing, I don't think there's any downside with it. I think it's only an upside. So I think you should definitely make one of those. And then also, if you do ever run any sales, I saw like one sale at the bottom, which was related to your t-shirts, which is in your t-shirt section. So you don't need to have it at the top. It's not like a general buy one, get one free sale or a 5 for 25 sale or something. But should you ever run a closet sale, you can do a separate listing for that. And if you want, you can put it in my free Facebook group where people can promote their Poshmark sales and deals. So you can go post a sale or you can find a sale there. And that is linked down below as well. And you can, I always put in here that you can create your signs in the Over app or in Typorama. Those are the two that I usually use, in case you're not sure. And I do have a video on that as well. So product mix and size. Let me tell you, you have some nice stuff. You have a wide array of brands from in-demand, medium to high-end to lower end. You have it, I actually just realized I have a typo here. On my summary for you, but I thought you have a nice mix of items. So good job on that. I thought you have legit good brands. You've got a lot of popular things, a lot of mall brands, lower end, higher end. I mean, I would recommend that perhaps you can find like some more home run items, like $50 plus items. Again, it's hard for me to make those recommendations because I don't know what your sourcing situation is. But when you have a good solid start of brands, like I think your sourcing is not an issue, you have great stuff. When you have that, then my challenge to you is to try to find those $50 and up sales, because when you collect a few of those over time and then they start selling over time, those are some nice paydays. And so if you are a person that is looking to just increase and level up, you should make it a mission at least once a month to try to find a high ticket item that you can get for cheap that you can sell for more. And it doesn't mean you're going to sell it that month, but maybe in 3 months you sell it, but every month you're collecting one of those, and then potentially every month you're selling one of those. Those are some nice paydays. So that's my thought for you on that. You did also have a wide variety of sizes as well, which I liked because usually that is a note that I make for people. So I was very happy to see that you have from plus to size small and all of that. Product mix, you have a great selection of all sorts of styles and occasions and casual and career and all of that, all seasons. So it's a great diversified closet for that. So great. And I didn't notice any prohibited items. So good job on that. Now, that was all some good stuff. Now I have some things for you to work on. So photo presentation. This, for some people, is a big deal. And this, for some people, isn't a big deal. For you, I think it's a medium deal. You know, your photos are fine. There's nothing wrong, Okay, they're not on the floor, you know, it looks like you're taking care of your items, but I do think that they can be presented even better. And it's mostly related to, I have this in two sections, but it's mostly related to like the style of the background, the lighting, kind of the environment in which you're doing it, your hangers, things like that. Like, I think that your level up is to get a couple of really nice hangers that match. Perhaps stick to the plain background, like a nice just blank wall, and the command hook is fine, and focus on lighting. Like, this skirt is fine. If you could just brighten this up, this would be fine. If you have lighting already, then you just need to do a photo editing app and this would be perfect. I mean, you could have it straighter perhaps, you know, it's a little like hanging low here. This is a little bit sideways. There were a couple where it's like maybe you weren't standing straight on, like this one looks a little funny. This one could be a little farther away. This one's a little dark. Like this one's very high up. This one has white space all around. Like, I'm being picky right now. I am. Because like I said, there's nothing wrong with your photos. But the level up is in making a consistently good quality presentation that is aesthetically pleasing to the customer, clean and clear and bright and crisp. And so when you get to a closet that has all the different things, it just brings a level of, she's just kind of randomly doing whatever. When you go to a closet where everything looks pretty much the same, you get more of a professional quality vibe. That's what I'm trying to get across. Sorry if I'm being a little bit wordy on it. You know, I think that like, there was, of course I'll never find the one that I saw yesterday because now the closet's probably in like a different order. Like, this is not my super favorite. This one, like all the buttons could be buttoned. I'm being nitpicky, you know, I don't mean to like tear you to shreds or anything, but I want to give you like my honest opinion. Like, this is great. It's nice, it's clean, it's a little washed out. But you know, you're trying to ask $90 for this item. If you want $90 for this item, you need to make it look like a $90 experience. You know, this one's a $12 item and it almost looks better. It's on the mannequin, everything's laying nicely. You know, the background is nice and white. There's a good amount of even space around it. You know, so you just got to think about that. Like this one too, it's kind of like, you know, a little slanted off to the side. So that's kind of my issue. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with your photos. It's just they could be better. And no one's perfect, and who knows where you started and where you're going and all that kind of thing. But these are my thoughts and my opinions. Things like this, like here it looks like you're taking it from a downward angle. Here it looks like you're taking it from off to the side. You know, just take it straight on if you can, and hopefully have the hook at a level that makes sense for you. I think having an even amount of white space around a photo or blank space is the best, because it gives the person a perspective of the size of the item and that everything looks okay with it. I don't think the item should be cut off at the bottom. If you take a long photo, then you need to put it on a square background. Don't just let Poshmark square it off. Things like that. So it's kind of like a photo presentation general thing, and then the lighting are really, you know, kind of my issues with it. I just want to make sure I did not forget anything. Oh, I was going to say search. I said this in the last one. Search for an item on Poshmark like you're a buyer. Like, go on and search for Michael Kors black lace-up dress size small and see what happens. And see what other items look like around your item. Is your item high enough? Have you shared it recently? Which is not about photos, but what does it look like in comparison to the other comparable items that someone would be looking at? If they're a buyer, that's what they're going to search for. Michael Kors size small black dress. And what does that window selection look like for them? How does your item compare? That will give you, I think, a big insight into how it looks to a buyer when you see it compared to other items in similarities. Also, check your solds and see what is selling for you. Are those the bright pictures? Are those the pictures that look the best? Or is it any random item? Which items are you getting more money for? The ones that have the better photos or the ones that are just whatever? I think that will help guide you a little bit. The other thing, this one is an example. There's a bunch of them. I'm not sure what's going on here. So it looks like you pulled up this item on the computer, took a picture of it with your phone, and then uploaded that picture as the listing picture. That's what I think is happening here. I don't know that that's what's happening here, but that's what I think is happening here. So perhaps because it's new, you're buying retail arbitrage, or if you're not buying retail arbitrage, you just happened to find a new one of these and looked it up and wanted the stock photo, then you should save the stock photo instead of taking a picture of it, because I feel like something's not right here, because there's no actual item. Like, you haven't shown me the actual item. I don't even know that you have the item. I just see that you've taken a picture of someone else wearing the item. That's confusing to me as a buyer. It does not make me trust this listing. And then in fact you. And so I think there's an issue here. Again, I don't know exactly what you're doing. It's either probably retail arbitrage, which is fine. You've ordered it, you took the picture, maybe you're waiting for it to come or something like that. But you want to get the listing up there to get the likes. I totally get that. I do that with my boutique items. But I find the stock photo and I save the stock photo as an image itself and upload that as the image. If you don't know how to do that, then, maybe message me or look up how to do that. But basically, you're taking a photo of a computer image, and I think that looks a little strange. And there were a lot of them. So it's just a thought. It's just a question. It just leaves me with I'm not sure what to do with this. And then the fact that there is no picture of the real item, there's nothing shown. I feel like you're trying to get one over on me. So I'm sure that's not what you're doing. I'm sure you're not doing that at all, but that's what it's leaving me to believe. I have no proof that you actually have this item. I don't know that what I'm going to get is actually going to look like that because I can't see the real item. That's my issue. I use stock photos all the time, but I do, and I know you're not supposed to, but I do. And I include also, though, that's just my cover picture, and then I include the actual pictures of the item, and I think you should do that too. So I was confused by that. I wanted to mention it. Lighting we already talked about. I do think that you could benefit a lot from using the Pick Tap Go app. It's very simple, very easy. You can batch do these, save these cover shots on your phone, go into Pick Tap Go. You do have to buy it. And then you can hit all of them and it will automatically spit them all out with a nice bright, situation. And you can just upload them all back again and it would fix all of your photos immediately. So I think that's a very easy fix that you could do that would help things out a little bit. As far as the photos in general, you need to take more photos of your item, in my opinion. Now, this looked like, let's do by Justin. Let's see if this is the most recent, because I didn't see this yesterday. Okay, so most recent. New Anthropology satin robe. Okay, so we're not talking about that right now. But so you've got 3 photos here. It's a little off center. The lighting is a little, it's not that bright. It looks like you have a light on it, but around it is not bright. And so I think that's the issue. You took a picture of the sleeve and a picture of the belt. So I have no picture of the back. I have no picture of the tags. I have no picture that it's new with the tag or what the price was or what the size is. I have no picture of the material, the fabric care. I have no picture of what it looks like tied. So those are the kinds of things I'm talking about. At minimum, you should have the basics. And now Poshmark allows you to have 16 photos. So you're asking $50 for this item. So I think you need to put more than 3 pictures. I think that the buyer deserves more than 3 pictures if they're going to spend $50. And this is not a personal thing to you. This is my honest professional opinion about a listing. If you're gonna, and I would do this too, if I'm thinking that I'm gonna ask $50 for an item, I'm gonna give them everything I've got. If it's a $10 item, maybe I'll do a front and a back and a couple of tags, and that's it, you know, if I'm just selling it for $10, in all honesty. But if you're asking $50, I think that you should put more photos in there, especially the back, especially the tags. It just helps with buyer impression, and overall, I think it would really help your listing. So, sorry, that was a lot. Pricing. I actually thought that your pricing in general was high. And it's not that the items don't deserve that price. I think it's a matter of what is actually happening in the market. Like, to me, saying $50 off of an $88 price tag is not horrible. I usually list new things at about 50% off the retail on Poshmark as my starting point, give or take, depending on the thing. That's kind of like a general rule that I break sometimes, but it's my general rule. And so I'd put this, you know, maybe at like $45, right? Or $44. That's fine, $50. Because you're going to have offers, you're going to send out offers, shipping discounts, all that kind of thing. But, and it's new. But if you're doing retail arbitrage, then I would understand that you probably paid more for this item, so you have to price it high. But you do have to consider, like, I haven't done a comp search on it, but you should do a comp search. And $50 sounds a little high to me. I mean, I don't know. I haven't sold an Anthropologie robe, but it sounds a little high to me. And that was new. That wasn't here yesterday, so that wasn't one of the ones that I looked at. But, like, you know, the line and dot, that's fine, $40. But there were some here where I just felt like it's a little high. Like $50 for Wild Fox is fine, but $50 for cut from the cloth I think is high. Some of these loft tops I thought was pretty high. Again, I know that they're new, and like I said, perhaps you're doing retail arbitrage, in which I would understand you need to have a higher price point, but I do think then that might inform your decision of what things you buy for retail arbitrage. $10 for Old Navy shorts, like, that's spot on. But $20 for 90-degree leggings, I think that's high. So it's all over the place. And that's fine. We all have that. And some items get price dropped, and some items are relists, and I don't know what your offer strategy is, so I'm not judging you. I'm just saying I think that doing a good comp check on a lot of your items, especially the older items that haven't sold, would do you well. Then you could relist it at maybe a more appropriate price given the market. Because again, it doesn't matter what you paid for the item. It doesn't matter what you think the item is worth. It doesn't matter what I think the item is worth. It matters what the buyer thinks it's worth. And then you, of course, get to choose if you want to sell it, but you're in the selling business and not the storage business, right? Okay. Titles. So let's talk about the titles. Like Old Navy 4-inch inseam shorts, size small, great. White House Black Market lace-up shorts, size 4, great. A lot of them were great. Some of them were short. Nike dry fit leggings, size medium. I also think that you had, let's see here, tie-dye romper from AEO. There was another one. Like, you don't need to have the words from or, what was the other word? From, with, something was with, you had the word with in there, like that just takes up space. So you don't need to have those kinds of things in there. What you can do is just put more details in there. Michael Kors, black sleeves, lace-up dress, size small. I don't know what's up with the sleeves part, because isn't the whole dress sleeve black? I don't know. But long sleeves, maybe that's what you meant. You cut out long because you didn't have room. But if you took out size, and you could then put long, and so you could do that. So there's different ways that you can do the title. I gave you a little formula here. You know, you just kind of want to hit all the points. I do have a listing template video that I think will help with your titles and your description. So I encourage you to kind of watch that in its entirety, because all of those points would help you. I'm not going to go through all of that here, but it's linked down below, and it's linked in your thing here, your summary. I think you should take a look at that. For description length, I thought that you had some simple descriptions. I think you can add a lot more keywords. Now, I don't remember which ones I clicked on yesterday. So let's see. And I do think that you might be starting to get better with your listings, because I tried to look at some older ones and then I looked at some newer ones and it seemed like you were moving in the right direction. So maybe you are starting to do some of these things on your own, which is great. Pre-owned, good condition. I'm always hesitant about good and great and things like that. I think saying pre-owned is good. My recommendation is, excellent condition with no flaws. Overall good condition with no flaws. What's good versus excellent, but at least you could note that there are no flaws. And I feel like that's a good cover your butt kind of statement and gives the buyer a little bit of confidence. And then if there was a flaw, you could be noting the flaw. High-waisted, you've got some measurements in here, which is great, because that must be a newer thing, because a lot of the other ones I actually have in here that you didn't have measurements. So if you don't always put measurements, you should make that a practice. It's up to you if you want to go back and add measurements to old listings, but if they're not selling, maybe if you add the measurements, they will. It's up to you and the time available that you have. I don't know if there is, okay, so aloe black leggings with design. I don't know what that would do in search. That's not going to give anyone any information for search. You could say that they're printed, all over print, watercolor, black, gray, painted, like things, I don't know. Those are only words that are coming to my mind right now. But, and sometimes you can't come up with anything else. I totally get that. Sometimes you have nothing else to say about an item. I totally get that. I'm just, trying to help improve upon this listing, and those are the first things that come to my mind. I don't know if there's a tag or anything where you could be looking up any sort of style number. I've only sold a handful of aloe, so I don't know. But, that's just my thought about, with design doesn't get you any further along. So it's just kind of there. But there are words that could help you get further along, like color things, like fabric things, like the print, the style, the design, etc. So you did have high-waisted, which is great. But let's go to a different listing, because maybe like a dress or something. Let's do this one. Let's see what's going on here. Otherwise, I'll go to an older one, because again, I felt like there were some more issues with the older ones when this is sorted by Justin though, so this is newer. What's happening here? V-neck, sleeveless, see-through paneling, partial lining, sheath, zipper in back. Okay, so now you're telling me some stuff, so that's good. Fuchsia, is that spelled right? I don't know if there's a C in there or not. I'm okay at spelling. New, floral, lace. Good. So this has a lot of things. I mean, if I sat with it, I probably could maybe come up with more, but you've got some measurements in here. You've got some additional keywords in here, and you have that it's new. Even though it's new, I usually reiterate in the description that it's brand new with tags, just to have it in the description as well, because that's only a plus. I know you have it in the title, and I know it's marked in the field, but that would be just a thought there. So that's good. Let's just scroll down. Let's just find one more, because I wanted to find one where I had given the notes on. Let's see. Those are t-shirts. Let's just see what this one is. ALC Sabina crop top. Okay. So you do have measurements in here, which is good. Like I said, it must have just been some of the older ones, or maybe it's just one that you didn't. Maybe I just ended up catching a few, so I apologize if you do normally do measurements, or maybe you're in the process of adding them. I don't know. Plunge, deep V, knotted, ribbed, short sleeve, maybe even it's a cap sleeve. You have cropped, so striped. Maybe even you could put nautical, kind of that vibe. So, I mean, there's just some more keywords that you could do to help yourself sell this item. And the goal with keywords is to help your item get found in as many searches as possible. The next thing is help sell the item to the customer once they found it. That's the point of keywords. I have a video coming out, depending on when you see this and when this goes, it's either going to be out or it's coming out, called Keywords That Sell. And that's going to have a lot of good information in there. And I also just developed that keywords list, which is chucked with 400 plus keywords. So that might be something that you might be interested in, or someone at home, because I totally get the feeling of looking at an item and you're like, I have nothing else to say. You have to look and find things to say about the item. That's your job as a reseller if you want the item to sell, because the basics work on some items, but the basics don't work on all items. You really need to do your due diligence. And maybe you don't put all the words in at the beginning. You kind of wait. I have done this where I will just wait to see if it sells. And if it doesn't sell, then I'll add some more keywords. You could totally do that. That way you're not putting up a lot of effort in the front end. Like, that's totally fine. But I do think that if an item isn't selling, you need to add more keywords to it to get it found and to get it sold, along with other things. But that will be a good start, because even if you share it 1,000,000 times, no one's going to see it if it doesn't show up in their search. So it's just something to think about. Sorry, that was like a big tangent. I didn't mean to go off on that whole thing. Also, I noted here, one of them you said on an item, not sure of fabric. In my mind, that, and I wish I had paid attention to which one. I should have marked down what one it was. But it said not sure of fabric. And so perhaps it didn't have the material tag, and that's fine. Just be careful of how you word things in a listing. Try to be as professional as you can. Try to think of it from the buyer's perspective in giving them confidence and a reason to buy from you. If someone just wrote, I'm not sure what the fabric is, well, you have the item. So even if you don't know, there's no tag, you could still describe to me what the fabric is like. Because I get questions on fabric all the time, but in my listings I put tag was removed. What do I put? No missing fabric tag, or no fabric tag, or no additional tags, or I don't know what I say, but it's in a template. So something like that, where it's a matter of fact professional line and not sure what it is, because that leads me to believe that either you don't know what you have, or it's not yours, or just some things that kind of just put a bad takeaway for the buyer. Again, this is all just my opinion, but I want to give it to you in the hopes that it helps. So that's what I think on that. You did have a line that I thought was really very interesting. Let's see if it's in the beginning. Let's pull this one up again. Nope, of course. You had a line that said something about like the lighting looks different, or see, that says coming soon here. Color may appear slight different due to screen display settings and profession lighting. So a couple of grammar-y things there, but I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't feel against it just yet, but I don't necessarily know that I feel for it. I think it's interesting because people do ask about color, and people can misrepresent color in photos depending on their lighting setup and things like that. But again, this goes back to you're taking a picture of the screen here. So I'm not 100% sure on that, but I do think it's an interesting line. And if you feel like it works for you, then keep doing it. If someone at home that's watching thinks that that will be helpful for you, add it. I don't know how I personally feel about it yet, but I thought it was interesting and worth bringing up. I liked that you thought of it and included it. I do think that you can add what I've said previously is a buyer confidence line, because you are, where is it at the top here? You are a Poshmark ambassador. You said you have you're a top seller and a quick shipper, and you do have same day, shipping, which is verified by looking at that in the area. So I think at the bottom of your listing, whether it's in addition to that lighting line or in place of it, you could put a buyer confidence line. And I did a whole video on boosting buyer confidence where I talk about all of this in detail. So check that video out. But it would be like, ship same next day, offers welcome, heart for price drops, bundle and save, packaged with care, things like that, to give them a little bit of confidence, a little bit of salesy oomph at the bottom of your listing. So I do think that that might be worth it to help you. Again, let your solds be your guide. I want to show, okay, so Express shorts for $9, Old Navy shorts for $10, Fabletics for $6, Talbot suit for $15. So Anthropologie top for $35, so that's good. But so what I was saying about your pricing before is like, you know, I mean, everybody I think is kind of feeling this right now. Some of the lower end items are selling, and so you get what you get for it, and you're probably making profit. And I don't want to tell you how to run your business as far as what offers to take and things like that. But I just want you to go back in and look at your solds and see the trends. A lot of these are well lit, centered items that don't look dark. There's a few, but for the most part, they have nice space around them. Most of them are hanging nice and straight. This one is sideways, unfortunately. But I think if you looked at your solds and did more of that and then saw how that is different from some of the things you have available, you'll know why some of those things are still available. Because I think that these are some of your better items. And it doesn't mean that they're your better brand items or your more expensive item. It means that your photo was better, or your presentation was better, or you had the right keywords, or your price was right on. So let your sold guide you as far as what to do with your other listings. That is that thought. Last, shared. Okay, let's go check it out. Hold on 1 second here. Sorry, I'm like pressing it. Okay, so we're back to the beginning. That's not what I want. Okay, updated 2 hours ago, so maybe you just listed that. That was a bad example. Let's check a different one. Sorry, I'm kind of like spacing out over here. Updated 3 hours ago. Okay, so you recently shared. When I checked yesterday, you had shared 5 hours ago on most of your items. So that's good. So that shows me, because I did this part yesterday in kind of the evening time. Now it's kind of morning time, that you are sharing at least a couple of times a day, which is great. So you want to be doing that. I mean, I think that there's a combination of things that you can do to your listing, like take better photos, take more photos, fix your title, fix your description, things like that. All that's one part. The other part is you got to share your listings a lot in order to get them high up in search, so that when your keyword gets it in search, you're high up enough in search that it will be seen, and then someone will read your description and feel good about buying from you. Like, there's a lot of things that play into it. Maybe I'll do a video just on that. But if you share within the last couple of hours, I would say 6 to 8 hours should be your max. Like, obviously overnight is different, but basically that breaks down to sharing your closet like 3 to 5 times a day. Now, you have a lot of available listings, so you're getting up there as far as number of listings, and so I can see how it would be harder to share your closet. Trust me, I know. I had 2,000 items in my closet at one point. Now I'm at about 800. I was obviously smaller at one point, so I know how long it takes to share. I know how hard it is to spend the time to share. You do what you can do, or you find someone that can help you perhaps, but the importance of sharing is real, and the results from sharing is real. And until Poshmark does anything else to change how it operates, having the right listing coupled with the sharing is the magic sauce. And so you need to put just as much effort into the sharing perhaps, and the frequency of sharing as you need to in your actual listing. So that's my little rant on that. Answering questions. I went through a bunch of listings and I just couldn't find any that had questions on them. So I hope that you're answering questions. If they are there, you need to answer them in a timely manner, in a professional manner. But in my clicking around, I didn't click in every single listing. But in the several that I did, I didn't see any ones with questions. So I couldn't say for sure. I didn't also see a bundle discount on here. So I offer 20%. Some people offer 10%. You can do whatever you like, but I didn't see any bundle discount. I definitely think you should. I think it just incentivizes people to buy and to buy more things. And, you know, that's kind of the main gist of it. I mean, my final impressions are kind of what I just said. there's a lot of components that make the secret sauce to sales and to daily sales. And I think that you're on the right track with a lot of it, and you've clearly made sales. So I don't think that anything that you're doing is wrong. I think that you can only improve if you want more out of Poshmark. And so some of the things that I highly recommend is really taking a nice approach to your photos. Look at the ones that have sold, pull up your items against other comp items for that same item and see what the other photos look like to give you a perspective of where your item, quote, ranks in prettiness or whatever, as far as the photo. And, I think a clear white background on a wall with a command hook or with your mannequin, because I saw a few different things that you had. If you can just put a little work into those photos, take more photos to give them all the information and confidence they need to buy, and then upgrade your listing description. Maybe even don't work on the titles, but the description, I think you can put more keywords that will get your items found. I think you can add a little bit to add buyer confidence and a nice buyer experience, and then share the heck out of your items. And that's the magic sauce. And that's, at the end of the day, it's not really magic. It's just checking all the boxes. And I think that sometimes we're so close to our items that it's really hard to see what boxes you're not checking. So it is nice to get, an objective perspective, because I have no horse in the race here. I'd love for you to make money, but I'm not trying to say anything bad. I'm not trying to say anything good. I'm just telling you what I think gets sales and will help you improve your store. And I think that you're doing a very okay job that could easily get better with easy tweaks. Add measurements, figure out, a photo editing app situation for your photos, add a couple of extra keywords every day on 10 listings, and that will beef up those listings over time, and add a confidence line at the bottom. It's not too hard. You could totally do that. That's very manageable. You don't have to do it all in one day. It's a process. We all start somewhere. So I think if you just add some of those things in, I think you should definitely get more sales. You have good stuff. So I don't see why you wouldn't. That's everything I have for you. I, hope that you get something out of this. I hope you make a lot of sales as a result of making some of these changes. I hope everyone at home has gotten something out of this as well. And I appreciate everyone watching. Like this video, go ahead and comment down below. If you are interested in a Poshmark closet review of your own, go ahead and check out the link below. Thanks for subscribing. If you are a subscriber, I am happy to see you again. And if you're new, go ahead and click subscribe so we can hang out again. That was a lot. Have a great day. Thanks so much for purchasing a closet review. Take care, everyone. Bye.